1% every single day in 365 days a year, that's a lot of improvement. When I first started, I did 8K first month. Last month, dude, I did close to 180K. That's a huge amount of success. So where am I a year from now? So that's where I'm looking forward to seeing.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Closers Network podcast, the only podcast and community that you want to be a part of, guys, to learn exactly how to make between $10,000 and $30,000 per month as a remote high-ticket closer in this space. Guys, today I am excited to introduce our guests. First and foremost, I want to say it's like 6:45 a.m. in the morning. We're in California right now, and this guest flew in all the way from Dubai. To introduce our guest, guys, he's gone on from working grocery supermarkets to retail to selling sneakers to selling multi-million-dollar properties to now high-ticket sales. He's originally from Burma and went to New Zealand as a refugee from a war-torn country. Growing up, he had absolutely nothing. He was homeless in the slums of Bangladesh for a period of time. He says everything in his life he's been able to accomplish on his own. He's also been in an MMA fight in a cage after training for the fight for 6 weeks, for 6 months. And by the way, he won that fight and he still trains today. He's also a guy who invests in his growth, and he's here today for an in-person event that we're hosting, a workshop for Closers Network guys in beautiful Canyon Lake, California. He's also a top closer in our sales agency, One Call Closers. And if that wasn't enough, the guy just came from doing an all-nighter at Coachella and is here right now before 7 a.m. to do this podcast with me. With that being said, guys, please help me welcome my guest, Ali. Ali, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. This is an honor. I've looked up on your podcast quite a lot, so it's pretty cool to be here in person.
Awesome, man. Well, welcome. I know you've got probably a long night of having some fun, and you're here today, and you're going to actually head over with us to take some knowledge bombs away later today, but what a story of perseverance, man. So I would love if you could just walk our listener through your upbringing a little bit, anything you want to share around that, and maybe how did all those life experiences growing up kind of shape and impact your kind of view of sales?
Yeah, man. So my background is very, very different to what most people would say, what their life has been. So I grew up in Burma, pretty much war-torn. Where I was, there's no clean water, no electricity, none of that. Literally, like in the slums of the slums. We had a small village. I didn't realize there was electricity and all that sort of stuff. So we grew up with absolutely nothing.
Wow.
So for me, man, like I never had a dad growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the big things that, for me as a person, it's kind of like everything that I view, my perspective towards life comes from my background and the things that I've been through. I've been on the streets, homeless. I've been at the highs of highs and I've been at the lowest of lows. Mm-hmm. So everything I do kind of attributes to my background, where I've come from and how I perceive life.
Damn. That's crazy. How do you feel like that's maybe shaped how you close today, like as far as in sales?
If you got to go down to the root cause itself. So for me as a person, I'm very traditional in terms of my beliefs and my view. Mm-hmm. So I think as a man, like for me, if someone asks me, how do you define success? For me, it's how useful are you as a man? Mm-hmm. So, for me, the ability to take care of those around me really well, whether it's my family, my friends, my partner, all that sort of stuff. I think that's how I view success. I think as a man, your ability to take care of those around you defines your success. 5 years ago, for me, there was, the flashy cars, money, this, that. I think that would have been success. But for me now is, am I, how do I say this? Am I comfortable with myself, who I am as a man? Am I, prideful? Mm-hmm. So I think that comes from if you are useful.
Damn. I hear you. Walk us through your journey. So you've, had a lot of opportunities to do different things in sales, right? How did you, I'd love for you specifically to get into how you ended up in Dubai, and I would love for the listener to know how you ended up at One Call Closers, if you can kind of share that story.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, because all my life I've been in sales. So I first started off in retail in supermarkets. I was actually a butcher, and then I was selling, I was seafood assistant, you could say.
Yeah.
So I was cleaning fish, chopping meat, handing that out. And then I went to selling sneakers, just on the retail. And then I went on to selling, I was doing like dishwashing on the side. I was doing like cleaning. I was doing all kinds of different stuff I was also in real estate where I was selling multi-million-dollar properties. But what no one knows behind that story is, because when you first start off in real estate, you don't really have any clients. No one knows you. You're a beginner. So to make money in the back ends, man, I was like cleaning dishes on the side. No one knew about it. It's a little bit embarrassing. You don't want to say I'm a real estate agent, but I'm also doing this on the side. And man, I did that for quite a few years. Pretty successful, but not where I wanted to be. And I feel like with what I was doing, there was a bit of a ceiling in what you could achieve at some point. So how I got into real estate was, man, how I got into One Call Close. There was one point in my life where I think it was about exactly a year ago. Dude, I was in the office, like in the car behind the office, just one night. I was just like, man, I was like, far out. I've been doing this real estate for like 3, 4, 5 years now, and I haven't made anything. Like I'm still exactly where I am, where I started. Dude, I was having a mental breakdown as a man. You know, when you're by yourself, you're crying, you don't show stuff. But I'm like, something's got to change. And then so caught up with a friend, Amir, and he's very much like-minded. He's always wanted to be successful himself. So we said, hey, you know what? Stuff it. Let's just do something different, see where we end up. So we ended up flying to Dubai. Dude, I had like $1,000 in my bank account.
Wow.
I spent everything that I had there, and I'm like, all right, we'll just figure it out. And through just applying for different jobs and all that sort of stuff, we got into this. And here I am, a year later. As you know, last month I was the number 2 salesperson for the whole team. That's awesome, man. So yeah, it's an interesting journey, but I think it's putting yourself in the right positions and having that confidence to take that step to say, okay, you know what? Something's got to change. Let me be that change.
Damn. That's powerful. That's powerful. What kind of impact has sales and even working at One Call Closers now with us, how has that impacted you?
Huge. Dude, I'm happy with myself. You know, for the first time in my life, I feel like I've got something that I'm prideful for. All my life, I worked hard to get to where I am, but I just feel like, you know, you can have all the right skill sets, but if you're not where you're not valued, you're not going to get the most out of it, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can have all the skill sets, but if the people around you don't see it and they don't value you, you're not going to get the most out of it. So being somewhere where I am now, where it's like, had the skill set that I have and my ability to be consistent, deliver consistently and be the very best version, you get rewarded. And I think if you can be in the right team like this right now, where you've got, you know, the likes of Trish, Ian, Richard, and all these people supporting you, dude, if you show up every single day, you're consistent, you work hard, and you improve yourself, absolutely, man. I feel like there's no ceilings in what you can achieve.
Bro, I'm 100% on board with you. And dude, that's literally like specifically the reason I left real estate as well, because I felt like I wasn't being like, so Tony Robbins has a quote. He says, I think it's something along the line of, go where you're appreciated and not where you're tolerated.
Yeah.
And I know I had the skill sets, but for whatever reason, I didn't feel like I was able to just provide the most value that I feel like I could bring in that space.
Yeah.
And in this space, I feel like is a complete opposite. And everyone, you know, appreciates what I do here versus like in the real estate world, it's like, man, it was a lot harder to get through. So I can definitely resonate with what you're saying. And man, Ali, just to put it in perspective, guys, like when he says he's the number 2 salesman, like he's on an account with 120 sales reps, okay? Put that into perspective, like how many people are closing on that account? And we have a lot of savages on that account. Let me tell you, that top 30, that top 20 are some freaking savages. The guy's pretty much the number 1 closer on that account, and that's not easy to accomplish. And on that note, dude, what are some of the lessons you've had to learn the hard way, especially transitioning now into like the remote high ticket space?
I think it's more human based, man. It's understanding how people work. I think there's a very big difference between sales and closing. I think with sales, you can close a deal, but if that transaction wasn't done properly, there's a lot of remorse that goes behind it, from a buyer's remorse and all that sort of stuff. So when I first started off, dude, my close rate, rubbish. I was closing maybe like 18% and all that sort of stuff, but also my refund rate was greater than my close rate.
Interesting.
So now I'm at a point where I'm closing over 48%.
Jeez.
I think right now I'm at 48%, but my refund rate is less than 5%. And I think it really comes down to just being consistent. At the end of the day, man, if you show up every single day, you're consistent, you work hard, but also understanding that the road's already been paved. I mean, there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Like one of my mentors, Trish, man, she's helped me so much in this route. I would not be where I am without her and the others on the exact same team. You know, there's killers on that team that I look up to, man, and I learn a lot from, whether it's Ava, Julie, who you've had, and all these other individuals that are amazing, but someone's already done it. Don't reinvent the wheel. If you want to be where you want to be, look at someone that's already been there and just, you know, replicate what they did. That's what I do. And so for me, every single day, it's just, man, I turn up, whether I've had a good day, a bad day, I turn up and I do my very best. And at the end of the day, I think if you do your very best, you can be proud of yourself. And if you've had a bad day, you can say, hey, you know what? I'll make it up for it tomorrow. I've had days where I've had 0 sales, and then I've had days where I've had 8, 9 sales in a row. So, you know, this is, if you're consistent, the results will speak.
100%. 100%. So funny. Every time I want to bring up Coach Trish and talk about, you know, hey, what's been like coaching with Trish? Before I even get to my question, they always bring up Coach Trish, man. So the last like 4 podcast episodes, I'm like, man, Trish is just such a master at what she does. She's so good. And the crowd loves her, man. So it's so awesome to hear that she's been so impactful for so many people within the organization.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel like there's a specific technique that maybe you learned? You mentioned like, you know, connection, but is there something that kind of has really consistently helped you close?
Man, I think over time you find what works for you. For me, I am very straightforward and blunt, but in a nice way. At the end of the day, here's the thing. Everyone's got an interest. You know, you come on a call with me, you've got an interest, I've got an interest. As long as I can align my interest with your interest and we're both happy, man, that's a deal. That's a good job. Because if you walk out of that deal and you're happy with what you've gotten, and I'm happy with what I've delivered, it's a happy day.
Yeah.
Right?
You go to sleep nice that night.
Absolutely, man. It's just understanding, you know, what are their interests and what's ours, and how can we align it where it makes most sense.
I love that. So understanding a little bit more about your past, right? You've obviously been in a lot of different kind of environments and situations. How have you managed to stay like motivated during those challenging times? Like, and is that mindset you've maybe taken away? Like, is that the same mindset that you use to kind of persevere in sales?
Dude, growing up, I've had absolutely nothing. All right. And so my thing has always been like, I think there was a turning point in my life where, dude, we came to New Zealand as refugees. We had absolutely nothing. And dude, my parents, it didn't work and stuff like that. They're on the benefits, which is like social from the government. And man, I really wanted this bike when I went to school. I think I was like year 5, which was like when I was like 15 or something. And I really wanted this one bike and we couldn't afford it. So I like hassled my dad for a whole year. And I think he saved up like $100, got me this bike from the supermarket. And I was so happy with it, man. I went to school that day and I'm like, man, this is the best thing I've ever had. And then, man, these kids, they tease me. They're like, oh, you know, that's a cheap bike. Are you poor and all that sort of stuff? And I didn't want to go home and tell my dad that. So I actually hid the bike in one of the hedges. And man, I just cried at a park by myself. And this was like 15 at their age. And I promised myself that I never, ever want anyone around to me feel like that again. So it's like, there's always been that chip in my shoulder that's like, one day I will make it happen. One day I'll make it happen. How? I don't know. But I've always felt like the universe is very giving to those that want it the most. So I feel like I don't know anyone in life that I've met that's been really successful that hasn't been through adversity, but also at the same time, and the universe is very giving to those that want it the most. So if you turn up every single day, you work your very hardest. You know, you turn up, you show your very best. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at one day you will accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish, right? So for me, I know the prize is out there, but it's just, am I willing to put the work? And dude, I show up every single day. You know, I show up every day and I bring my A game. And, you know, I think there's that sense of accountability as well. Everything that goes bad in my life has been because of the choices and actions I've taken.
That's right.
So I've reflected on everything that's gone wrong and it comes down to me. But also at the same time, the opposite is also true. Everything that's happened in my life, hey, it's because of the actions that I've taken. So understanding that is, if you want something, man, it's there. The universe is very giving. You just have to work for it. You do your very best. I guarantee you at some point you will achieve it.
Jeez. Right? Bro, that's so powerful. And I don't know if you guys can see my shirt, but what he's basically saying is intention is greater than method. And there's a lot of wisdom in what Ali just dropped there. Like, if you are struggling right now and you're dealing with mindset stuff, guys, like, that's a segment you want to go back and listen to multiple times, because there's a lot of gold in there. As someone who can relate to exactly what he's saying, I'm telling you, there's a lot of value in that. That's powerful, bro.
Thanks, man. And you talked about mindset just earlier, and I think it's an interesting fact as well, because I'm 26 right now, but I think because I've seen, like, I know I'm 26. Some people might look at me like he's young, but dude, I've been through every part of life. Like, literally, I've grew up with absolutely nothing on the streets, on the villages. Dude, we used to drink water out of freaking rivers, all that sort of stuff. I never had anything growing up, so I've been homeless and all that sort of stuff to get to where I am now. I've seen every part of life, and I think a lot of people these days, because we're too comfortable, everything's instant, man. It's instant gratification. Everyone wants it now. Dude, just delay it. Work hard now. The reward will come afterwards. And I think one of the big things that people make here is excuses. They're too comfortable, man. It's like, that downward momentum where people go through bad times.
Yeah.
They go through bad times, so they don't take the actions necessary. So now they're in a worse off position. Now they've got even less energy. Now they do even less. That downward spiral, the opposite is also very true, man. If you look at the laws, literally just look at the basics laws of the universe, man. Equals and opposites, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is, if the downward spiral is true, the opposite is also true, the upward spiral. So yeah, you may be in a crappy situation right now, but if you decide to take that step to better yourself, tomorrow you're going to feel a little bit better. The next day you're going to be a little bit better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to be able to do more. Now you've built up momentum. Momentum builds up momentum. So the upward spiral is also very true. And I think if you are going through a rough time, yeah, it's hard. Everyone's been through it. We get it. Life's tough. But man up, take the steps, be consistent, be disciplined, do the work. Because at the end of the day, man, like, for me personally, I feel like if I let myself down, that's one thing, but I don't want to let down those that's important to me. I just feel like, dude, my parents work too hard. I'm too prideful in myself and my bloodline to be a failure. I cannot see anything else besides being successful. And I think that really just comes down to turning every single day, turning up, being the very best version of yourself. That's how I see it, man.
Gosh, it's a freaking masterclass right there, guys. That's a mindset masterclass right there. That's powerful stuff, Ali. Dude, so like, you can hear it in just the way Ali is expressing himself. Like, he's kind of going back and he's thinking about all the experiences he has, but like, that's not something that necessarily comes overnight, guys. The guy has had to put in a lot of time, a lot of work to get to where he's at, to adopt this kind of mindset. And yeah, there's just so much power in that, man. It's really powerful stuff. What's been the most rewarding thing about sales for you so far?
I think the most rewarding thing has always been, man, like, because it all comes down to your mindset and you as an individual. Like, for me, dude, back in the days growing up, I loved team sports and stuff, but I hated losing, because it's like, if someone else messed up, it's like, oh, we lost because of X, Y, Z.
Right.
So I've always been really successful when it comes to doing things where I can take the blame. Mm-hmm. For example, if I screw something up, I know it's because of me. And I feel like sales is one of those jobs where, hey, if you did well, it's because of you. If you messed up, it's because of you. So if you can take that accountability and say, you know what, all right, I messed this up, but what's the lesson behind it? What can I do differently next time around? So it's one of those things where you get out what you put in. And I'm very confident in my ability and my ability to outwork everyone else. Dude, like, I can be in a room full of savages, but at some point, man, people wear off. I know, me mentally, I'll keep going, man. I'll turn up. Like, dude, I went to Coachella and all that sort of stuff. I get it. You know what? I gave you my word. I said I'd be here at 7 in the morning. Woke up with an hour sleep. 12 hours flight, 6 hours driving. I made it. I'm on time, and here we are. So I feel like as a man, you've got to be what you say. Your words is you go as far as your words.
Be a man of your word.
Absolutely, man. And that comes from a sense of pride in yourself. But again, that just comes from the things I've been through in my life, because everyone that I know that's successful, they do what they say. Those that talk a lot, but they don't deliver on their actions. And, when Trish messaged me, she messaged me a little while back about this event that we're going to go to today. She's like, Ali, do you want to come to an event? It's about growing yourself. And I said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. I had no idea what the cost was, where it was, how I was going to make it. I said, yeah, let's do it. I paid for it. And then I figured everything else out. So I reckon you got to put yourself in positions where opportunities are there. and take that risk, man. Like life's short, man, dude. Life's short. Take that risk. Make it happen. If it works out, amazing. If not, hey, you know what? There's another opportunity following through. But I reckon you just take that opportunity, be the very best version of yourself. And you know what? People are nice, man. People are very giving if they can see your true intentions. Dude, when I first got into closing, I struggled a lot. Dude, my first month, I think I did like 8K. And then last month, I was close to 180,000. So there's a huge difference. But there was a point where I nearly gave up. And I'm like, man, this is, because you go through those doubts. It's like, this is even for me. Am I good enough? Because you start to wonder at some point, it's like, dude,
100%.
And I was like, this is even for me. So I had a chat with Trish and I said, Trish, do you think I'll make it? Like, do you think this is even for me, man? And I was like, and that took a lot of like, self-reflections, like, because my ego was hurt at that time. But she's like, yeah, you can do it. You just have to work hard. And she believed in me. And I'm like, all right, if she believes in me, maybe there's something that I'm not seeing in myself.
Right.
And so I think it's also important to have the right team around you, the ones that can see the very best version of you, but also are honest with you. And as long as you've got the right team, you turn up and you do the work on your own, man, I think there is no reason for you to be successful. There's no other option but to be successful.
Jeez, bro. You're getting me fired up this morning, Ali. You're getting me fired up, bro. On 1 hour of sleep coming from Coachella. Look at the nuggets and the wisdom this man is dropping right now, guys. This is powerful stuff. This is really powerful stuff. You mentioned 180,000 cash collected last month. I'd love for you to, if you don't mind equating to that, what that looked like in terms of like, was that your best month you've ever had at One Call Closers? If you don't mind sharing what your best month looked like.
This month would have been my best, but I took some time off. I'm taking the week off. I think I just ended at 116,000, but I took some time off. But look, man, there's a lot of savages out there like Ava. She's killing it, man. I look up to those. So my ultimate goal is not where I am now. It's where am I 2, 3, 4, 5 months from down the track. Because, dude, every month I've just been growing. And I know if I just turn up every day, be more consistent, work a little bit harder, I'll get there. My only thing is my timing is a little off because I'm in all the way New Zealand right now. So when I start my day, it's like 5 a.m., but it's like, I think like around midday for you guys. So I have half the day off. I work half the day, but dude,
you get it in.
Yeah, we'll see what life brings moving ahead. But I'm excited.
Jeez, we said most amount of deals you close in a day was like 8 or 9 deals in a day.
I was 8 just the other day, last week.
Damn, bro, that's intense. So as someone who's closing like that, right, you probably also deal and handle a lot of like rejection and objections, I should say, right?
Absolutely.
How do you handle that?
I think it just comes down to life experience, man. Like at the end of the day, it says sales is numbers. At some point, it says numbers. If you understand your numbers, like your close rate, how many calls you need to do a deal, I don't see rejections as a failure. I just see it as a learning curve. It's like, okay, great. I'm one call closer to the next close. If that makes sense. But also at the same time, man, like I've been through a lot of failures in life myself. And I feel like if you can take accountability of why you failed, there's a lot of learning behind it and you can be a better person, but you can learn from it. I don't think of a rejection as a failure necessarily. I just think, okay, maybe I messed something up. Maybe I could have done something better. All right, let me reflect and see what went wrong. What can I do differently? And then just be that little bit better the next time around. And such is life, Some days you have good days, some days you have bad days. But again, just be consistent. Turn up every day. Be your very best version. If you're failing, if you're not closing the numbers that you should be, look at those that are doing better than you. See what they're doing differently and learn. Because the wheel's already been invented. Why reinvent the wheel? Learn from the very best. Be a better version of yourself and just show up the next day a little bit better. Right? You don't have to be 100% better. You just got to be 1% better. But a year, 1% every single day in 365 days a year, that's a lot of improvement. When I first started, I did 8K first month. Last month, dude, I did close to 180K. That's a huge amount of success. So where am I a year from now? So that's where I'm looking forward to seeing.
Let's just say, just so everyone knows what that equates to in dollar amounts and commissions earned, guys, 180,000 at that tier when you collect that kind of cash at 14%. So you can do the math, 180,000 and also, at 14% commission.
But also, because where I stay is a very different conversion rate. So one USD is at $1. It's close to $1.17 NZ.
Damn, I thought the Canadian people got that 20% bump. You get that extra 70% bump.
It's closer to 50 to 60K, man.
Jeez
Monthly.
Louise.
And that's someone's yearly income. So when I did other jobs, dude, I was working my ass off, cleaning freaking dishes, mopping floors and all that for like half that a year.
How insane is that? To go from that to getting to 50 to 60K a month where he lives, guys, that's incredible.
Yeah, I got paid last week, man. I was closer to 60K last week. So, hey, man, look, I think the universe is very giving. You just have to work hard, man. You got to find the right opportunities. You got to put yourself in the right position. Be consistent, show up, be someone that follows through with their words. And when you have people that believe in you like Trish, freaking deliver, man. Don't waste their time. Deliver on your results. And that's how you get far ahead in life. That's how I see it, man.
God, I got to clip that and send it to every coaching student from now on, bro. If you're working with Trish, don't waste your time, baby. Get after it. Get after it. I love that. Man, speaking of closing deals, right? You're obviously a very influential and persuasive guy. I love your energy, dude. You got the confidence. You got what we call the BD around here, right? That's definitely there. I've seen this guy's Instagram. If anyone, I follow a lot of people. If anyone is living the laptop lifestyle, it's Ali. Like this guy's, some of the pictures that he's been, it's like out of a movie. Like he's here one day, he's over there the next day, and every picture looks nicer than the other. What's the most unusual place like you've closed a deal?
Oh, dude. What's the most unusual place I've closed a deal? Quite a lot, man. Quite a few different places. There was a time where I went, I don't know why I said yes, but I had said yes to a mate. It was his birthday. So we're going out town to enjoy his night. We had drinks ordered and all this sort of stuff. And I remembered I had rescheduled one of my leads. And I'm like, yeah, I'll make it happen. I'll be at that time at that place. I'll take that call. Bro, like champagne's coming through. I'm like, holy shit, my call's in 5 minutes. What am I going to do? Bro, I went to the backstage, put one of those filters on the phone, close that deal. Close the deal. Dude, I was in the back room while there's like champagne parties going around. Like, you got to do work is work, man. You got to follow through. You said yes, now deliver.
Jeez, bro, that's awesome. Like, see, what I love about what you're saying, too, is like you're having fun with it, right? You're not overthinking it. You're not thinking about, oh, my God, I have a call right now. How am I going to take this? You said it earlier. You have the figure it out mentality. I call it the FIO, and you just figure it out, man. And it's crazy, but that's so funny, dude. That's freaking awesome. What's the most creative excuse that you've ever heard a prospect tell you for not buying?
Dude, it's just an interesting one. Everyone's got different reasons. But at the end of the day, look, I'm very direct and straightforward. There's someone that came to me just recently. I think they're like quite a while from achieving their goals. They're like, I'll do it maybe next week or next month. I'm just like, dude, you're 45. You've had 45 years to achieve your goals. You haven't done it. Be honest with me, Like, what's going on? What stopped you from achieving your goal? Like, is it XYZ or XYZ? Like, look, we're both mean, what's going on? And then, everyone's got an excuse behind the excuse.
Right.
So once you find the reason why, it's like, okay, cool. Like, here's your reasons. Here's why you came on this call with me. Here's what you're looking to achieve. Here's what we deliver. Now, does that make sense for you? Great, man. And at the end of the day, dude was happy as, came back, I had that follow-up call with him 6 months later. Happy as Jolly.
Dude, that's how I sell too. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm direct, but it's like, I call it tough love.
Yeah.
But it's like, you gotta be honest with them.
100%.
And most people don't want to have that honest conversation, but it's all about your tonality, right? 100%. You can say and get a point across if you have the right tone behind it, and they can feel that energy too. It's like, oh, he's not being a dick necessarily. Like, he's actually calling me out in a way that I probably almost like I want to get called out, right? Because nobody else has been able to have the confidence to do it.
You gotta give that tough love, man. And it's like everything in my life, and I think it just comes from my life experience as well. Everything that I've been through in my life, it's like, I've never had anyone be soft on me. I've never had someone say, oh, Ali, you'll make it through. Oh, you just have to be a little bit happier. No, man. It's like the people that I've had around me have struggled, man. Like, I grew up with absolutely nothing. To get to where I am, it's a lot of tough love. It's, hey, look, you're a man. If you want to make it, you got to do the work. You don't feel great. You're tired. Well, tough. The world goes on. It doesn't matter. And I think that's why, for me, being a man, the reason at the very start, when I say successful is how useful are you as a man? Because let's be honest, dude, you can be the nicest guy in the world, but if you're not useful, like what's going on? That's right. Like I feel like as a man, you gotta be in a position where you can take care of those around you. Like for me, dude, I want to take care of my parents. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of my people around me because that's what gives me the most amount of pride in myself and satisfaction. And for me to do that, dude, you got to show up every day. There's a lot of days where I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. You know what? The world doesn't care. You got to turn up. You got to deliver. You want something in life, you got to go for it because at the end of the day, man, and I think that's why I'm so successful in life. I wouldn't say like I'm most successful or anything, but, to get to where I am in life is I've showed up on days where others haven't. I say yes when others say I'm too tired. And when I say yes, I make sure I deliver. And that's the big thing. A lot of people say yes, but if you're not willing to follow through and deliver, like, dude, I'm not going to trust you next time, Yeah. Yeah. And that's my thing is like, man, I've got a lot of confidence in myself, but I make sure I deliver on my words and I make sure I do my very best. And that's the most important thing.
Guys, I talk about this all the time, and it's exactly what Ali just said. I always tell people that, like, Mike, how do you get confident? And my first advice to him is like, well, dude, you got to keep the promises you make to yourself. Yeah. If you tell yourself you're going to do something and you don't do it, you're going to literally, like, your self-image, your self-identity, you're going to lose yourself. You're going to have lack of confidence. You're not going to know because you don't believe you're the guy that's going to deliver on the thing that you said you're going to deliver. Yeah. But the opposite of that is also true is what Ali is saying. Well, if it's like, dude, you show up, you say you're going to do that thing, you ride that momentum, you start building on that confidence.
And you trust yourself.
If you say you're going to do this thing, you're actually going to freaking show up and do it. Just like he actually showed up with only 1 hour sleep coming straight from Coachella. I literally, this morning, I opened up my phone, I look at my Instagram, and I see 2 hours ago, this guy's posting photos 2 hours ago in Coachella. I'm like, what's going on, bro? He showed up today because he's a man of his word. And I don't think it's by coincidence why he's been able to have the success he's been able to see is because he is that guy. And I think there's just so much power in that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from that self-belief, man. Like the reason why I have so much confidence and belief in myself is I trust myself. I know when I say I'll do something, I'll follow through and I'll do it. But also at the same time, man, competence breeds confidence. A lot of people go, how do I become more confident? Is, hey, just get good at what you're doing first. Because once you're really good at something, you're going to naturally build up confidence. Exactly. And when you have more confidence, you're going to build up more competence. And it's a positive loop, isn't it? Because you do more, you're able to do more. Now you've got more confidence in yourself. Now you're amazing at your job, whatever that is you do. It's just a loophole, man. It's just a positive loophole. Just work hard, man. That's a classical saying, Be consistent. Follow through with everything that you say you're going to do. Be the very best version of you. And, man, the universe is very giving. And that's the one thing I've realized is the universe is amazing, man. What you say, you can attract. But you got to do the freaking work.
That's right. Yeah. Nothing's going to happen without that.
Nothing happens if you don't do anything. Nothing changes, right? That's the old saying.
That's powerful. Well, Ali, I got a couple more just questions for you because we got to head out, get to that event because it's starting pretty soon here. If there's one person, as far as a sales influencer or maybe a sales thought leader that you can have dinner with, living or dead, who would it be and why?
It's interesting, man, because I read a lot of books. No one can tell. I'm a bit of a geek myself. Honestly, I'm quite nerdy. Like I like superheroes, quantum physics, science, all this sort of stuff. I love that, the psychology of things. But there's a lot of books I read. But one of the one author that I really like is Robert Greene.
Oh, man.
One of it, I've read all his book, The 40 Years of Power. There's a ton of different books that he's got, The Laws of Human Nature, all these different things. I think he's a very interesting character. So I'd love to have a chat with him one day if I could, potentially. Hey, life's beautiful, man. A lot can happen. Who knows? Maybe I'll be on a podcast with him one day.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
That's an interesting choice. I'm gonna ask that to every guest moving forward. I don't think I'm gonna get that one as often, but that's a very powerful one right there. If there's one piece of advice you can share with the audience that maybe we haven't talked about today, what do you feel like you want to leave them with?
If there's one piece of advice I can give to people is have confidence in yourself and believe in yourself. Like, we all start somewhere. I grew up with absolutely nothing, and here I am today. every single person that's been somewhere in life, they've all started somewhere. Don't compare where you are to someone. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 10. But also understand at the same time, everything that you want to achieve in life, it's already been achieved by someone else. So just look at what they're doing, replicate their process, invest in yourself, but also turn up every single day. And like I said earlier on, man, be consistent, turn up every day, deliver on your words, and you'll get there. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not a year, but at some point you will get there. Because for me to get to where I am now, it was a 10, 15-year journey. But when I started, man, I didn't see the end picture. It happens. Life's beautiful, man. And, you know, through your journey, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but don't lose that faith in yourself. Have that confidence. Know that if you deliver every single day and be the very best version of you, you turn up, you're consistent, the universe will give. It has to.
Damn. I think we should end it right there on that note, man. Ali, I appreciate you coming out, man. Thank you so much for keeping your word, showing up this morning, dude. I know we got to get out of here to attend that workshop today. I think there's going to be a lot of powerful stuff and takeaways there as well. But guys, look, if you're on an offer right now, right, you're a seasoned sales rep, you're on an offer right now and you're looking to maybe 2x or 3x your commissions, then you want to make sure you click that link below to get on a sales call with one of us to chat maybe about getting into sales coaching, right? And talking about working with Coach Trish, working with myself, right? As your sales coach to help you 2 or 3x your game and take it to the next level, your confidence, your sales game to that next level. And look, if that's not you guys and you're wondering, well, what if I'm not on an offer right now, Mike? What do I do? Then guys, if you're not on an offer right now, what you want to do is click the second link in the description. That's going to get you access to our free community on the School platform. And that's SKOOL. It's the Closers Network on the School platform, guys. We're going to give you guys a free course, a free sales course that we can charge easily $10,000, $15,000 for, that you can get for absolutely free. And on top of that, guys, we give you guys 5 days of live free coaching. The same people that run and facilitate everything inside of our sales agency, One Call Closers, are the same people that are going to coach you through our sister company, Closers Network, guys. And it's completely free. And there's a ton of freaking value in there. So make sure you take advantage of that. Click the second link. You can request to join the community. We'll let you in. That being said, Ali, again, dude, thank you so much for making the time and coming out here, dude. It's been a freaking awesome time. I appreciate all the wisdom and the knowledge bombs that you dropped today, man.
Likewise, brother. I appreciate you having me.